I'm Steve Krenz for Guitar Gathering. Thanks for joining us on this little lesson about 5 easy blues licks that you could know. Hey, there's a PDF that goes along with this, so make sure and download that. The link is in the YouTube description down below. So if you need to, pause the video so that you can download that, because those are the licks that we're going to be going through. You know, there's a handful of licks that every guitarist needs to have kind of in their back pocket for playing. And so we're going to focus on some licks that work well in the genre of blues. You can work them in other genres as well, but these mainly worked well in blues. So let's go. There's 5 of them that we're going to be going through. And so let's start talking about it. Take a look at that PDF. I called it 5 easy blues riffs, licks, and however you prefer to call it. These are little melodic ideas that can be applied to any chord of the same type. And so I would encourage you to practice them in different keys. Now, that opening song that I did, that's a little blues riff song that is actually in the PDF, the last page of the PDF that you have downloaded there. So let's take a look at the first one. You guys are ready? So if I'm in the key of E, all right, a common lick is this old guy. There you go. Let me play it for you again. And various different variations of it, but that's the main lick of it there. So let's take a look and see what's happening here. I've given you the music notation, the chord, and the tab notation down there as well, so you should be able to kind of follow along here. It starts, we're in the key of E, so you have to find your bearings here. We're going to slide up from this, the second in the key of E, which is the F sharp, and we're going to go up to the third. We're sliding up to the third. That's the important part. That's going to be our note that we're pivoting off of. So in E, I want to go to this G sharp, and I'm going to form a 6th, okay, which is a B and a G sharp there. And I like to play that with my 2nd and 3rd finger there. 2nd and 3rd finger. So that's where we're going. And there's a little bit of a slide up to that. So we're going to slide up to this, starting here at the 2nd fret, and we're going to slide up and go. Sounds like that old soul man lick, doesn't it? So we're going to take that 6th, and we're just going to rock it back and forth. Then we go it down a half step, down another half step, and then we're gonna, that's what we're ending up on. And we're gonna do a little hammer on from the G natural on the 3rd string open to the G sharp with our 1st finger. So if I put all that together, I end up with real slow, sorry. You can do a little hammer on there at the end. If I did it one more time slowly, 1. All right, so once you learn an idea, I like to put it on different string sets. Currently, that's on the 1st and 3rd string set. Well, if I wanted to put that on a different string set, let's say I wanted to use maybe the 2nd and 4th, I'm just going to do exactly the same thing. So look at that bottom example there on page 1. It's the same lick. I just put it down on the 2nd and 4th string. So now the B and G sharp are up here at the 9th fret. Go down a half step. Another half step. Now, you can do a hammer on if you want to, but that's a little awkward there. So you can kind of just do a slide if you want to, or you can just land on it. Now, if you want to slide from beneath it, you can just keep the 2nd finger down there on the G on the what is that, the 4th string at the 5th fret? And then slide up to the 6th fret. Now, you see that lick a lot in country, you see it a lot in blues as well. That sort of a thing. Now, all right, well, let's switch keys on it. Let's say I wanted to play the lick in F. A half step up. Well, now I'm going to go back to our 1st and 3rd string combination. I'm going to go up to the 3rd of F, which is now the A. And I can do it there. What if I wanted to do an F on the middle strings, the 4th and 2nd? Now I'm up here at the 10th. So that's a great lick to just have in your back pocket of licks that you can use. So if I'm in sort of an A or E, let's go to maybe the key of A. All right, so now where would the lick be? Well, it would be on the 3rd of the A, so I'd have to go. So you have to keep playing with the what strings you're using and knowing where it is on the thing. So the pivot note is you're sliding up to the 3rd of the chord, and you're doing a 6th lick there. Great little lick. Use it for 1,000 things. Bluegrass, blues, you hear it all the time in country. All right, that's the first one. Hey, take a look at the next one. Flip the page. Page 2. So now we're going to take that same idea, that back and forth triplet idea, and now we're going to flip it. So instead of putting we have a B and a G sharp. Let's go back to the key of E. We have a B and a G sharp. So instead of the G sharp being on the highest string, let's put the G sharp on the lowest string. Remember, the 6th and the 1st string are the same note, just 2 octaves away from each other. So now I'm going to end up with, you have this combination. Again, I'm going to use the 2nd finger and the 3rd finger. 2nd finger on the 6th string at the 4th fret. 3rd finger on the, what is that, the 3rd string at the 4th fret. All right, and so I'm going to do, let me just play it for you first. I'll do it one more time. Okay, so that one you kind of need to use almost a kind of a hybrid technique to catch that open E there. All right, so what am I doing there? This is actually a lick I learned from Tom Bresh. Tom Bresh, our good friend Tom Bresh. So we're going to go slide up to that G sharp and B, and then I'm going to hit the open E at the top. Go down a half step, down a half step, and then do a little E7. Okay, so let me play it one more time slow for you. There you go. Now, since you're using the open strings there, it doesn't, it's a little bit trickier to do it. You can do it in other keys, but you can't do that high note there with them. I mean, I guess you can kind of do it that way, but it starts getting to be a pretty good stretch. So this one works best in the key of E. A great little alternative to this one. But you see, even in just those 2 licks, I have, I can do a 2-bar intro there, and I'm basically doing the same lick in 3 different spots. That's the beauty of it. Okay, hey, take a look at the 3rd one here. Take a look at Blues Riff 3. This is the middle of page 2. All right, let's see what we got going on here. This is a minor, basically is walking down a minor pentatonic scale. So let me play it here for you first. One more time. Something like that. 2, 3, 4. All right, so what is that? All right. A minor pentatonic scale is an E, a G, an A, and a B, okay, in the key of E. So I'm going from the A to the B. So I'm kind of getting into the 3rd position here for a second. First finger on the D, 3rd finger on the E. And then I'm going to do a little hammer-on pull-off from the 1st finger on the A to the 2nd finger on the B flat. Does that sound familiar? Just even that part of the lick. Okay. Now I'm in the second position, and I walk down, pure walk down a minor pentatonic scale. A, G, E, D, B, A, G, with my second finger. That little arrow there means that I'm just going to get a little stank on it. I'm just going to bend it, and in this case, I can't bend it up because we're on the 6th string, so I'm going to bend it actually down physically toward the floor to give that. Hear that little boom, boom. Now, you don't have to bend it specifically to a pitch or anything. Just give a little stank on it. Just give a little movement. All right, so that little walk down is A, first finger, G, pinky, E, first finger, D, pinky, A, first finger, pinky. Okay, are you seeing a pattern here? And then finally I spin out of it with my second finger, little stank on it, and then end up on the low E. Oh, that's a good one. I heard that one on actually on a jazz recording, Foreplay, great group. Bob James is playing keys and stuff like that. And this was a lick that I believe Lee Ritenour did. But it works great in blues as well. So I'm sliding up from the second finger to the B. Let's talk about that for a second. Whenever you want to do a slide, you slide to the finger that you're going to. So I want to end up on my second finger on this B. So I'm going to slide to that with my second finger. Okay, so that's how slides work. I don't want to do a hammer on. If I want to get an effective slide, I slide with the finger I want to land on. So I want to land on the second finger, so I'm going to start on the second finger. And you can do this in other keys as well. Trying to think, there's the root, if I'm in the key of E. There's the E. So I'm actually kind of going up to the 5th and the flatted 7th. Now remember, I'm kind of running through these pretty quick, but as you go back and listen to this again, you can always slow it down. Go to that little gear icon in the lower right-hand corner of your YouTube screen. You can slow things down and kind of learn things better that way. So if there's my root, if I wanted to play this lick in the key of, let's say, G, which that would be the G there with my third finger, then I would have to transpose this 3 frets up, and it would be... And then I don't have the open string to go to, I've got to quickly get back there. A great little lick. All right, we've been through the 6th lick here. We've been through this lick. We've been through this one. There you go. Let's look at the next one. Kind of tagging on to this idea of using the 5th in the key of E. The 5th would be the B, okay? And the flatted 7th. Take a look at Blues Riff 4. This is kind of a Stevie Ray Vaughan type lick. There you go, there you go. Okay, all right, well, what's happening there? I'm going right up here to the 5th and the flatted 7th, that B and the D. Okay, and I'm going to slide up from a whole step beneath it. And kind of give it a real good downstroke, all downstroke. Maybe I can even slide every third one. Okay, so what am I doing? First and second. But you think about where you are in the chord. This is an E7th, with the notes in an E7th are an E, G sharp, B, and a D, so you're on the 5th and you're on the flatted 7th, the B and the D there. So I'm going to start, and I want to land on that B and the D with my first and second finger. So I'm going to start on my first and second finger. That's a good little trick to get used to, being able to do a slide right on the beat. dwat, dot, dot, dwat, dot, dot, dwat. And then when I want to spin out of it, I'm going to do this little B flat, A, G, E, E, the flatted fifth, the fourth, the minor third, and the E. Maybe we even kind of do a pull off to that B flat. And I end up on a B seventh, or you can add the sharp 9 if you want to. Kind of make it even a little bit more funky. Okay, so you can, like right there, I didn't switch my hand position, I just went. Just did a kind of a quick little reverse pull-off. You can go from the high B, you can go from the B flat. The B flat is going to give you a little bit more of the bluesy sound, so kind of understand each tone gives a different sound to the over the chord. So these aren't just notes. Each note has a characteristic sound that goes along with it. So that's the sound of the flatted seventh. That's that flatted fifth. There you go, there you go. Great lick. So if I want to transpose that into another part, let's say I want to do that lick in F, well, then I'm going to slide up to the fifth in the key of F, which is the C, and the E flat on the same string set. Now here I can't do that doesn't work. So I'm gonna have to go. Maybe I can go. I have to catch the A flat there with my pinky rather than back here. It's just too much to go. I guess I could do that. It's a great little lick. Great little lick to throw in. So if I'm in, let's say, an E blues. Go wherever you want to. You could, maybe I can add that high E to it. What if I could slide this down like I did the other licks? Oh, you see how all these licks are kind of little puzzle pieces. They all just work into each other. It's a great little lick. Okay, hey, we've been through 4. Let's take a look at the 5th one. So flip over to page 3. And this one is a little bit more involved. So I gave you kind of 2 pages on this one. So this is a sliding lick that involves 6th again, but you're sliding these 6. So if I'm in the key of, let's say, A, okay, I'm going to do a 2-note version. I'm going to slide up from the 5th, which is this E, and then I'm going to do the 6th beneath it, which is the G, and again with my 2nd and 3rd finger, and I'm going to slide up a whole step and back down. Okay, great little lick. Okay, so, but think of what's going on. Think of what's going on. I'm in a key, and I'm going from the 5th on the 2nd string up to the 6th, and then I'm doing the interval of a 6th right there. So that's the 2-note version. If I want to go to the key of D, I wanted to stay in it. Here's the 5th in the key of D. There's the 6th. Now, remember how we talked about doing things on different string sets as well? We're going to get to that in a second, but let me show you the 3-note version. Okay, so this is the 2-note version. If I did the 3-note version, now I'm going to have to switch my fingers around. I'm going to do 3rd finger, 2nd finger, pinky there. So third finger on the fourth string at the fifth fret, excuse me. Second finger on the third string at the fourth fret. Pinky on the, what is that, second string, fifth fret. And so that's the, sounds a little bit different than two-note version. Here's a three-note version. Sounds a little more full. Okay. Now, this is the second and fourth string version. Take a look at, let's see, the next line down, the second measure over. I have a D, and I can also do this same lick on the first and third string. So if I'm in the key of D, its fifth would be an A, and then sixth would be an E. And look, it's a bar. Here's in D. That's the first, second, and third string version. If I wanted to do that version on an A, it's a little, maybe if I did it with my third finger there. Learn those licks in those two different string set patterns there. So there you go. That's the blues riff in the sliding sixth riff. Now, it works well going from the fifth of a chord up to the sixth. And again, tons of variations to it. So let me go back and let's take a look at this little song that I played at the very opening. Okay, so we go back to the key of A. We're going to do a regular 12-bar blues pattern. And so I'm do a little pull-off lick to get us started. Then I do my little sixth lick. And then I do the same thing over about 3 or 4 times. And so now I'm getting ready to do it in the key of D, go to the 4 chord. So I'm going to go on the open A, and same fingering I did on the lower string. First finger pulling off to the open string, 4th fret, and then open. Now here, I don't want to jump all the way up here, that's too far, so I'm going to do the upper version of it. Now I'm going to go back to the A and I'm going to do the lower version. Now here I'm on an E, so now my 5th is at this B, so I'm going to do slide up here. And I go down to the D. There you go. Okay, there's 5 great blues licks that work well in blues, in country, and other styles as well. Kind of get those underneath your fingers, the physical playing of them, but also try and understand what notes are the root notes and how they interact with the notes of the lick, and so you can throw them in, and then experiment with different variations of them. See if you can find some variations that you like on your own. Try and incorporate those into your own playing. Hey, I'm Steve Krenz for Guitar Gathering. Thanks for joining us on this lesson. Keep up the great work in your playing, and make sure and subscribe if you can, and we will see you guys next time.